Guys, I think I've been away too long because people are now actually just posting my L's without me bringing you guys new content. I'm just getting like L posted all over the place. So, so apparently, someone in the H3 community, I bet it's the fucking guy who was on my channel. Anyway, I have a few hate watchers in the H3 community. So yeah, short stream today, but let's try to cover like the latest bullshit that we're getting from here. Okay, so let's start this off. What even happened? I opened so many tabs I can't even find myself. Legal mindset. Oh yeah, this one. POV, you've never seen a footnote. So to be fair to me, I did fuck this up. I mean, to be fair to them, I did fuck this up. I'll admit that it was like 3 a.m. when I was reading this, but it's fucking confusing. It's a fucking confusing document that he wrote. Okay, all right, let's go with what this is. So let's just like listen to me.
Term Zionist lost all meaning and quickly mutated into a thinly veiled dog whistle for Jews. To combat the tsunami of hateful rhetoric, Ethan and Eli Klein, wait, what happened? To combat the tsunami of hateful rhetoric, Ethan and Eli Klein, the term Zionist was used as a slur. Wait, the term Zion, am I going crazy here? The term Zionist lost all meaning and quickly mutated into a thinly veiled dog whistle for Jews, period. To combat the tsunami of hateful rhetoric, Ethan and Eli Klein, and then it just says dash, the term Zionist was used as a slur to paint anyone who supported the through TEI created content new Hassan Piker. Like, did someone just have a brain malfunction when they were writing this? Ethan and Eli Klein. And then is this supposed to be parentheses? The term Zionist was used as a slur to paint anyone who supported them through TEI created content new Hassan, or who supported Israel. I don't know. Am I going crazy here? Like, I know I haven't been streaming that long. Am I crazy? This reminds me of myself in high school when I didn't give a fuck about an essay I wrote, and I was mid-paragraph.
Dude, they included the part where I talked about my shitty essay that I submitted. Okay, listen, it's literally the same sentence structure. There's the same distance between the footnote and the distance between the sentences in the form itself, and it's the same fucking it's the same font size. It's the exact same font size, and also the dash is also confusing. So, to be fair to myself, I think I'm justified in being confused there.
Sentence. I just stopped writing the sentence and started a new paragraph. And it's just because I didn't proofread it all. That's the vibe I'm getting from this. Like, I'm just going to read it as it's written. To combat the tsunami of hateful rhetoric, Ethan and Eli Klein, the term Zionist was used as a slur to paint anyone who supported the, through TEI, created content new Hassan Piker.
Dude, also, like, what is this? The term Zionist was used as a slur to paint anyone who supported the, and then continued. Okay, like, where did they continue it? On the next page?
Like, just absolutely bullshit. The nuke was written, shot, and edited.
Okay, so anyway, that was funny. And then people are like making fun of it. Is this Denham's lawyer? Uninformed leftist indeed. The novel House of Leaves would be this guy's kryptonite. How do you not notice the little number in the line that separated the paragraph? I'd imagine he didn't know what the numbers on the left of the page or the paragraphs are. I mean, chalked it up to gibberish Zionist numbers and such. Anyway, so then Ethan Klein posts that, and I do think it's funny though, because it's like, you know, obviously he posts a clip of something that he thinks he can actually, where was I? Something that he thinks he can actually laugh about, when like the rest of the lawsuit is insanely stupid. Like, there's so many clips of me reading that where literally just reading the lawsuit itself defeats the lawsuit, where it's like, oh yeah, Denham's admitted that she's trying to steal views from Ethan Klein. But then in the next sentence, it would be like, yeah, but Denham's also said that she wanted people to, or that she thought people were watching her to react to her. So anyway, yeah, like, I don't know. It's kind of like a stupid thing because it's literally me just like misreading a document, and Ethan Klein laughs about it. So let's go to his Instagram now. So we'll start off with this. He says, whoops, because Republicans vote to block the release of the Epstein files. Well, that's the other thing. If we're talking about proofreading it, like, yes, it was not proofread at all. And there's a history of Ethan Klein releasing legal documents that are not proofread. L Dan, Superman is a Nepo baby. L Dan, Superman is a Nepo baby. So he's talking about, he's saying that Hassan and Superman are both Nepo babies. Oh, and then he posts this, Denham's attorney reading the complaint for the first time. Dude, Jesus Christ. Like, okay. It's just, it's the exact same thing that Lonerbox said of me. Like, they don't actually have any substantive criticism, so they're just like, oh wow, you don't know what a footnote is, when it's literally like a footnote is usually a different font and it's actually separated from the page, not in the exact same font and size and paragraph spacing as the rest of the page. And like, they just make fun of the person without actually addressing any of their points. So like, obviously he's not actually doing anything in good faith. He's just trying to make himself feel good because right now this lawsuit isn't really going anywhere and he needs to make content out of it somehow. Okay, so then we're talking about this stuff more. Oh my God. Anyway, so that's pretty much that. I just think it's funny, like, okay. I think it's funny that he posts something like that, and I guess it's just, oh my God, no. It's a fucking Jinx cosplayer too. They're an Arcane fan. All right, what is this? Who is this? How embarrassing. They link my, oh guys, yes. They're gonna link my YouTube channel here. Like how the dash and numbers not look suspicious to him at all. All right, anyway, I got dunked on there. But once again, I just don't have like much to say about it because it's, at the end of the day, completely meaningless. Like, if you can read the paper and analyze it, misunderstanding the actual syntax of the paper and how it's constructed is kind of a stupid thing to have a point, get one over on someone. But I do want to talk about this community because I saw something here where it's like, what was it? They're like, uninformed leftist is a tautology. So basically, like, of course they're like anti-left here. And you really see this separation happening in the H3 community, where it's like, no, we should cover Trump, and then people that are like, no, like, fuck the left, let's just keep shitting on Hassan, let's keep shitting on Sam Cedar, Emma Vigeland, Kyle Kalinske, let's just like keep attacking the left. And so we really see like some of this here. Okay, so Snark Reddit, so they're like, so apparently in the last episode, this was a political episode that they did, and it just did not do well. So you can see, like, when they're talking about Snark, 603,000 views, almost 700,000 views, 747,000 views, and then this, less than 500 views streamed a day ago. And sure, has been out for 3 less days than this one, but it's down by 100,000 views. I think that people just aren't actually that interested in it, considering this is like a very popular story with the Epstein and Trump files right now. And well, yeah, that's the other thing. Like, is Ethan Klein actually going to make comments about someone like not being able to read properly? Like, he literally searches things up on ChatGPT. So anyway, so they're talking about politics. Like, obviously they need to intersperse it with their snark stuff. So Adam McIntyre clips, just like YouTube drama here, Hassan and the ContraPoint situation. Kind of curious to see Ethan's brain dead analysis there. And then you have this the Epstein situation, and that's obviously like what they titled the show, and it's not doing that much. So like, people are basically like, you have people that are just like, Hassan is part of Hamas, right? Hamasabi, right? And then they're sucking up to Asmongold. There's posts on this subreddit, and once again, this subreddit is highly moderated. There's posts on this subreddit that are saying that Asmongold's willing to work with Ethan Klein to take down the cat Twitter user, the Twitter user that has a cat in his username. There's people that are like, legal mindset is the best thing I've ever seen, and he loves Ethan Klein. And then you have posts like this where like, maybe we shouldn't like be cuddling up to people like Asmongold. Maybe we shouldn't be cuddling up to legal mindset, who literally has a history of showing how to have legal sex with prostitutes in Southeast Asian countries. So remember when Hassan said, oh yeah, legal mindset is a passport bro? And then legal mindset's rebuttal to Hassan was, I'm not a passport bro. I just teach people how to become passport bros. That was his literal response in the video that he released last week. And you still have this massive podcast being like, oh yeah, this guy's like a great mind, and shout out legal mindset. He's a totally non-biased actor in this situation, who's providing proper legal analysis on Hassan. Okay, so there's like a split in this community. There's a gross kind of incel split that's just there for the drama. They're coming from Destiny's community. They're coming from all of the Hassan hater communities. They're there for the drama. They're there for like the support of Asmongold, the support of Mudahar, legal mindset, all of these fucking like weird ass conservative sex criminals that just love shitting on Hassan. And Ethan is feeding them that content, and so they're eating it up. And so he feels like he can't really do that kind of, or he has to keep doing that kind of content. He can't do other content where he like attacks Trump unless he has the crutch of like, oh, and we're going to cover Hassan. Oh, and we're going to cover Adam McIntyre. Because this is the type of stimulus that he's trained his audience to respond to. Oh, when he talks about Adam McIntyre, there's going to be an influx of hundreds of Adam McIntyre clips. When he talks about Hassan and ContraPoints, there's going to be an influx of like thousands of people making comments and posting about Hassan and ContraPoints on his Reddit page. And I just think it's fucking hilarious that like one clip of me gets posted onto that Reddit and Ethan reposted on his story. I mean, at least he got my fucking good side in that clip. Although let's be honest, I have nothing but good sides. Okay, so I want to watch some of this podcast. I don't have too much time. I want to watch some of this podcast, but I want to go over some of these like crazy ass fucking clips before then. No, I kind of like, guys, I was not 100% on my channel name when I like first started the channel, but I just find it hilarious that everyone that doesn't like my content or doesn't like my politics, let's be honest, is like, oh, uninformed leftist. What a fitting name. Like, you realize like it's an ironic name, right? It's like if Saitama had called himself the bald superhero and then people started making fun of him for being bald. Although I guess that's not even an accurate depiction. I guess it'd be like if he actually had hair, but he called himself the bald superhero, and then people are like, oh, you're the bald? Of course you are. Or like if you call yourself little, but you're a massive guy, and people are like, little, wow, little idiot. Okay, so let's take a look at some of the schizo posting from Ethan Klein here. Historian at Ricky D. Phillips had this to say about Bad Empanada, and then Ethan summarizes it. So let's just look up this guy, Ricky D. Phillips. He must be an anarchist, right? Ricky Phillips. Wait, is this a YouTuber? Ricky Phillips, all I'm getting is the guitarist from Styx. Ricky D. Phillips. Twitter? On Twitter? Ricky D. Oh my god, he's literally a cartoon character on Twitter? This is the guy Ethan Klein is citing as someone who actually takes a. Okay, maybe he's not a cartoon character. Oh no, he is. This is the guy that Ethan Klein is citing as someone who takes a principled stance against sexual harassment. As we move into a far more Argentine phase of the Falklands War, please remember that I've written 3 books from the Argentine perspective of the war, which we in the UK simply don't know, and they're completely new. Okay, so he's hawking books that he's written. Cartoon Rick. Cartoon. He calls himself. He has an alter ego called Cartoon Rick. That's hilarious. Ending July 13th, and despite all going well, a dramatic twist of fate leaves 11 men terribly wounded at RAF Stanley. What is this? So he's just doing military history. That's his content. And he covers bad empanada because he's doing military history? Okay, so like this is cool, like getting in depth on certain battles of World War II and other wars before then. Where does bad empanada come into this? What the fuck did Ethan post? I also wouldn't call this man a historian. I'd call him a content creator, like a Twitter poster. Had this to say about Bad Empanada. According to him, Bad Empanada fled to Argentina because of alleged sexual allegations and that he's known there as a sexpat. Looking at a picture of him, there's no way these accusations are true. So, like, once again, Ethan Klein goes after the lowest hanging fruit, just like making fun of Bad Empanada's appearance and being like, oh yeah, he's quite obviously a sex criminal because of the picture of him. The first casualty blog.wordpress.com. Okay, I really hope there's not like NSFW stuff there. First casualty blog. The first casualty. A home. Where's the Bad Empanada article? So he's writing about the Falkland. I'm just so confused how this person started writing about Bad Empanada. All right, let's just look forward. As a fanaticist, he certainly excels. I don't think it exists anymore. Is this even about Bad Empanada? As a fanaticist, he certainly excels, although one should add that he's walking cliche of personality disorders. George's list of characters he has portrayed or believed himself to be as dazzling. He seemed to wish to put himself at the center of a class war. Following on from alleged sexual allegations. So he has no evidence at all. Okay, like this is so fucking stupid. It's a blog that doesn't exist. Like you can go to his blog and Control F Bad Empanada's name, and it's not there. Unless I'm missing it. Site title, about, contact. Yeah, I don't see any article written about Bad Empanada. It's not on the homepage, and then you actually read the text that Ethan quoted here, and there's no evidence at all. They just say that following on from alleged sexual allegations. Oh, okay, who gives a fuck? Like one person saying that Bad Empanada has alleged sexual allegations. And then obviously the top comment, like no surprise, the picture alone gives me creeps. If it is true that he lied about being Aboriginal, that's totally fucked. Like, there's no evidence for any of this. Why would Ethan repost this? It's literally like a fucking schizo guy that just writes about military and he's hawking his books about like specific military battles. And then he's like, oh yeah, and let me do a hit piece on Bad Empanada where I just say he has alleged or that he has sexual misconduct allegations against him. Actual Holy shit. Okay, so this is stupid. This is hilarious. Hamas Abi, a post on Ethan's Reddit that says Hamas Abi, which once again is a fucking YouTube channel that had privated videos of Hassan that Ethan somehow got, or unlisted videos of Hassan that Ethan somehow got a hold of. And now people in his community are writing out posts called Hamas Abi. So Hamas Abi's best friend Will Neff says the new Superman movie is about Israel and how Israel are the supervillains of the movie. So hopefully there are no spoilers here. But then the commenter says, he's saying Israel is cartoonishly evil, incredibly non-political and nuanced take here from Hassan's inner circle member. Calling something cartoonishly evil is inherently political. This video doesn't work.
Thing that Gunn did was Baravia is Israel, obviously, and they're cartoonishly evil in the film, right? So no one who supports Israel can look at it and go, well, Baravia is supposed to be Israel, because they then would have to admit that what they are doing in real life is cartoonishly evil. It's such a brilliant, like, oh, Baravia made you think of Israel? What about it? What about what they were doing? No, tell. No, tell. No, go ahead, tell me. The supervillain stuff? Is that what reminded you of them? Interesting. It's just comic book stuff, man. It's just
Oh, God damn it. The bathroom is echoing. The bathroom echoes bad. Fuck. All right, well, we'll just try to get through this. So anyway, so we have a guy here saying that, like, the new Superman movie is about Israel and how Israel are the supervillains of the movie. And let's see what the reaction is. So we already have Ethan's reaction, and we can get to this right here, where Ethan's reaction is like, no, Hassan is like Superman in the sense that they're both Nepo babies. So I find this funny because it's like, if you're trying, if you want to make fun of someone for comparing themselves to Superman, who's like the epitome of being a superhero, like he is the most superhero. You want to make fun of someone for doing that, don't engage in the comparison. If you are trying to make fun of someone for making that comparison to themselves and Superman, then make fun of that. But as soon as you engage on the same level and be like, no, you are like Superman, but not in the way you think, you've already lost the plot. Like, people are making fun of Hassan for comparing himself to Superman. People are doing that. And Ethan is like, oh, I think this is a nuanced conversation. I'm not just going to ridicule you immediately, like on the face of making that comparison. I'm just going to be like, yes, well, I mean, you are both Nepo babies. And once again, I don't think Superman is a Nepo baby. I think if we're talking about the comics here, I think everyone on Krypton, the home planet, was like quite affluent. It was kind of like a utopian planet. But the reason that Superman was able to leave and other people weren't able to leave, and I think this is the case, correct me if I'm wrong, but was because Superman's father was a scientist that discovered the world was going to basically blow up. But no one believed him. So he's the only one that sent his kid away because because no one else thought that it was actually going to get destroyed. Which is kind of funny because it's like, you know, you can make the case that like he wasn't believed, kind of like leftists aren't believed about fascism taking place and just how bad Donald Trump can be. But it wasn't that he had better material conditions than everyone else on Krypton. It was that he believed in his science and no one else believed in his science. Hey, Ethan's Basement, happy yeah, dude, you are a Instagram crash out veteran. But anyway, this is so stupid. This is so stupid. So anyway, we have oh yeah, the legal mindset thing. Okay, so I haven't seen the Superman movie yet, and I want to see it. But if they're saying that the main villains of the country of Superman is a rogue nation state being supported by the United States that's doing genocide, that is literally an allegory for Israel, like the most on the nose allegory you can possibly get. And you get this, where people now in Klein's community, who Ethan Klein is probably the biggest liberal Zionist that runs Defense for Israel. There are liberal Zionists like David Pakman, even Bernie Sanders, like he's a leftist, but his Zionism is liberal. Brian Tyler Cohen that talk about politics and stuff, and I'm sure there's others. But however, David Pakman and Brian Tyler Cohen and other people like that, they don't actually actively talk about Israel and talk about how great Israel is. And even though like David Pakman can't really help himself, and every now and then he'll be like, well, I just don't like the people that are like too talkative about Palestine. I don't like those people. He knows to shut the fuck up about it. Ethan Klein has completely restructured his audience to be a group of people that are eager for like pro-Israel, anti-pro-Palestinian takes. And so now you have people like this person that calls Hassan Hamasabi. It's only a matter of time before Ethan starts calling him that. And he says, oh my God, Will Neff. First of all, Hassan's not even in this clip. It's Will Neff that's in the clip, and they're talking about, Hamasabi's best friend, Will Neff, which is hilarious in and of itself. So then they say, Will Neff talks about how the Superman movie is about Israel and how Israel is the supervillains of the movie. Like, isn't this utterly ridiculous? And then he's saying Israel is cartoonishly evil. Incredibly non-political and nuanced take here from Hassan's inner circle member. So then what do we have here? Arabia could really be any smaller colonial power, and Jaharnpur any colonial victim. But IDK, if anybody directly making the comparison to Israel, is going to be shy or confused about why they're making that comparison. The leader of Baravia feels very explicitly like Netanyahu, deep voice, lumpy visage, and badly balding, lol, like I even down to their skin intonation. I was kind of shocked by it. Their skin tone, not intonation. As for their conflict, I can see your point. Up until the motivation for the Baravians boils down to nearly exactly what the current conservative government in Israel is trying to accomplish in Gaza. Even the flags are uncannily close to the Israeli and Palestinian flag. I'd go into more detail, but I want to avoid spoilers. So anyway, people are actually like, no, it's fine to criticize Israel. I took Baravia as a mix of Israel/Bibi and Russia/Putin. I don't see anything wrong with what Will said. There's nothing wrong with what he said. Netanyahu's government is cartoonishly evil. What's fucking annoying is his tone of voice, as if anyone who disagrees with that sentiment is anywhere near his content. Like IDK, who he's trying to shit on with that statement. We all agree, L will. Anyway, like, this is just so stupid. Like, it's obvious. What Will Neff said is obviously true. And apparently the person who posted this that has 100, well, okay, he did get ratioed, I guess, because he has less upvotes and he does have comments, but still 50, 40, almost 50 comments here, or 50 upvotes here. And the person's like, isn't it ridiculous that Will Neff is saying Israel is the villain of the new Superman movie? That's crazy. Okay, so we have there. let's see, what else do we have? Let's like go through some of this stupid stuff. This is funny. So, legal mindsets revenge porn victim speaks out about being groomed by him at age 16. So, yeah, I mean, the guy who takes vacations to Thailand, like, listen, I don't even know if this is true or not. These are allegations, of course. But the guy who takes trips to Thailand, lives in Southeast Asia, helps Americans move to Southeast Asia for the rich culture there and, you know, the lovely beaches. Yeah, like, of course, this guy's going to have a sketchy fucking past. Oh, and then also the guy who spends all of his free time covering YouTube drama, attacking leftists, attacking people that are actually like pro-consent, pro-sex education. You know, like, I don't see him attacking Ethan Klein, who once again, like, well, yeah, once again, made a fucking video talking about how like a 17-year-old he wanted to have sex with. So anyway, this is so stupid. So like, it looks like the audience is actually turning against him a little bit. I never knew LM had a second YouTube Passport Bro channel. Okay, so just so funny. So you have this. So then people are like, Legal Mindset was talking about how to have illegal sex with a prostitute in South Korea, how the women are so hot, and that's a reason to go there. He gives tips on how men can escape the West because feminism has killed any chance to find a good woman. Seriously, it's gross, just like Hassan's disgusting mod. Wow. So the guy attacking Hassan for literally just saying that he's a passport bro turns out to be anti-feminist and actually a passport bro and wants to make a living on his YouTube channel helping other people become passport bros. What the fuck? This guy's such a scumbag. I love it. It's just so perfect. It's so perfect. The guy that supports Ethan Klein turns out to be a scumbag. Who would have thought? Remember Ahmed Fuad al-Khatib, who supported Ethan Klein, and then his entire charity is just like a slush fund for himself, and he goes on to like literally debate people that are pro-Palestine on a Jubilee video. He's like the anti-advocate, he's the anti-activist, pro-Palestinian activist. Like, Asmongold wants to support Ethan Klein in suing a random Twitter user. That's great. I love that. I love Ethan Klein's allies in his war here. Hey, it's me. Okay, what the fuck is this? Anyone who calls the genocide a conflict is not pro-Palestine. Wait, honeymoon? Lana Del Rey also shows support for Palestine in the same Instagram post as well. What is this Instagram post? And yes, of course, we pray for Palestine every day. I wish for peace upon all nations, and I'm constantly up on all of the news between the Israel-Palestine conflict. I was very hopeful when we were getting close to a peace treaty, and that was my greatest wish as I've watched the news unfold from afar. It's always difficult to watch any innocent victims killed by crimes of war. There is never a good way of wording things that will make all people happy, but that is my personal truth. Politically, I do keep up and have been very much hoping for a ceasefire. There is long ongoing conflict this is a long ongoing conflict and one I've studied hard to understand. It's heartbreaking, unfathomable to think there hasn't been a way to find some resolution. It's a topic of conversation in many of my daily conversations. We're constantly considering what we can do to contribute in all situations like this. So, like, listen, it's one thing to call Israel and Palestine a conflict, because at the end of the day, like, it is a conflict, and saying labeling it as a conflict can just be a term that people use. Like, the Majority Report will sometimes call it the Israel-Palestine conflict. However, conflict applies agency equally to both Israel and Palestine. So I think it's fine to call it a conflict as long as the vast majority of the output of your speech makes it clear that this is not an equal sides issue, makes it clear that this is a completely one-sided issue where Israel is insistent upon doing a genocide. And so, while I think this isn't like pro-genocide, it's definitely not pro-Palestine. You're definitely not doing an accurate depiction of reality. This is a both sides equivocation, and this is just throwing your hands up and saying, I just want there to be peace. Why can't there just be peace? It's unfathomable to think that there hasn't been a way to find some resolution by now. This is basically being, there needs to be peace without actually putting the agency of the aggressor onto Israel. And so, while this post isn't pro-genocide, I would say that what Ethan's been doing is pro-genocide, because not only does Ethan flatten the conflict, and the vast majority of his output is that both sides are just as equally guilty in this war happening, and he does call it a war. He does not call it a genocide. He also goes further than that, and every now and then he'll actually blame the Palestinians for this happening, and he'll also blame the leftist pro-Palestinian advocates for making Israel's actions in Gaza worse. He blames Hassan, he blames people like Will Neff, Adam McIntyre, some of the people from the Deprogram podcast. He blames all of those people for making Israel's actions worse, and he also blames Hamas for making Israel genocide them. And so that's why I claim that Ethan Klein is actually pro-genocide. He's of course pro-Israel, and at the end of the day, if the Palestinians all get genocided or ethnically cleansed, that's a problem for Ethan, because he's also racist and he doesn't want Palestinians next to Israel, and he doesn't want Palestinians to have equal rights as Jewish Israelis. That's a problem for Ethan that gets solved by genocide and ethnic cleansing. Can I do a Hitler Klein impression? I can't. I'm not gonna do one in this room because this room fucking sucks, guys. I'll have to stream later tonight. So anyway, someone discusses while. Okay, so anyway, let's get into this actual episode. So Ethan talks about the Hassan and ContraPoints situation. This is on me.
And to defend vulnerable people, and to show by not just telling but also doing, no matter what the repercussions are. And I think that was what was great. He is an inspirational figure, not just inspirational towards human beings, but also towards metahumans and people who are powerful themselves.
They're talking about Superman. Where's the ContraPoints? No Superman spoilers.
He's saying he's respectful to metahumans.
You paused it at the worst possible moment. I could.
Bro, you cannot get a better depiction of Ethan Klein's crash out than this. Hassan analyzing the Superman movie. Ethan Klein pausing it at a random fucking time and then just being like, he's talking about being respectful to metahumans. And then just dead silence. He thinks that's gonna get a laugh out of his crew, but no one knows what the fuck he's talking about. But in Ethan Klein's twisted little mind, that somehow makes sense that it's an own over Hassan. Respecting metahumans is somehow an own over. So Hassan talking about a character in the movie, I'm assuming Superman, respecting metahumans is somehow an own, right?
I think that was what was great. He is an inspirational figure, not just inspirational towards human beings, but also towards metahumans and people who are powerful themselves.
He's saying he's respectful to metahumans.
You paused it at the worst possible moment. I could.
What the fuck? He literally said he's respectful to humans and metahumans alike, and Ethan Klein pauses it and he's like, he's respectful to metahumans.
Could not follow the point he was trying to make.
Because this is what he always does. He's talking nonsense.
Sometimes here.
Dude, he's talking nonsense. Dude, you're actually just a fucking moron. What the actual fuck? Like, I just played 5 seconds of Hassan and I understood what he's talking about because he said it. If you just listen to the words, you can understand what he's saying. He's saying Superman is respectful to humans and metahumans alike. Ethan Klein pauses it and he's like, he's saying he's respectful to metahumans. This doesn't make any sense.
Not just
I went back for you,
general,
Dan.
which is like to
I went back for you, Dan.
Take action. He literally makes people. He springs others into action. That's the whole point. That is the. I don't know. I just saw like a lot of what I've tried to do with commentary in general, which is like to influence others to also do right. And to defend vulnerable people.
Okay, now I'm following.
And to show.
I think you paused it right at that pivotal part.
By not just telling, but also doing, no matter what the repercussions are. And I think that was what was great. Like, he is an inspirational figure, not just inspirational towards human beings, but also towards metahumans and people who are powerful themselves.
So he liked the Superman movie because Superman reminded him
like, sometimes
of himself.
it's okay to do good.
Have you ever watched Superman and thought, that reminds me of me?
Man,
you know who that reminds me of?
Dan coming in with the worst take imaginable. Hassan didn't say he likes the Superman movie because it reminds him of himself. He said he likes the Superman movie because of the values and the actions that Superman took. At least that's one aspect of the Superman movie that Hassan appreciated. Not because it reminded him of himself. Like the Superman movie's just Hassan looking at himself in the mirror. Hassan's like, I could go see the Superman movie, or I could just stare at my bedroom mirror for 3 hours. Yeah, Hassan just like looks at himself in the mirror for 3 hours every night, and that's his entertainment for the night. Fuck off, Dan, you fucking moron. Like, Dan's not this stupid. He's just being a shitty person.
Me. You know, Superman, the impossibly like powerful and valorous.
Holy shit, dude, these people are actually morons. Like, if I say, like, I'm from Minnesota, Bob Dylan's from Minnesota, I am like him in that regard. And then someone looks at me and they're like, oh yeah, you've written 13 platinum top hit music songs? You won the Nobel Prize for Literature? Get over yourself. I'm like, what? Like, that's not why I was comparing myself to Bob Dylan. I wasn't saying Bob Dylan's done all of these amazing things. That reminds me of me because I've done all of these amazing things. Hassan didn't say, I'm also impervious to bullets and an alien that can fly around wearing underwear and a cape. He said Superman inspires people to do better, and he's an activist in that regard. That reminded me of me, where I see a lot of my values in Superman, right? That's literally the whole idea behind representation in media. If you see someone that shares your values or has gone through similar life experiences or has a similar goal to you, that can inspire you. That can make the movie more enjoyable to watch. And these fucking morons are like, Hassan also thinks he can shoot lasers out of his eyes. Have you seen his fucking YouTube channel thumbnail? Look at that. Hassan, I knew it. Hassan always thought he could shoot lasers out of his eyes. Look at this. This is the proof. Ethan Klein pulls this up. Hassan photoshopped himself to make him look like he's Superman. He's such a fucking joke. The only thing that makes him similar to Superman is that they're both Nepo babies. What a dumbass.
Chivalrous, like perfect moral compass, basically a perfect human being. You know who that?
Oh my god, dude. Yeah, Ethan's gonna be like, and he's saying he has a big dick. I saw that bulge in Superman's pants. What next? Is he gonna say that he has sex with Lois Lane?
You know, Superman, the impossibly like powerful and valorous, chivalrous, like perfect moral compass, basically a perfect human being. You know who that reminds me of? Me.
Got it.
You know.
It is telling that Ethan Klein cannot fathom seeing aspects of yourself in a movie character. Like, once again, let's talk about anime. People dress up like anime characters because they see, you know what, this is a meme that I saw recently. Let's just talk about this. People identify with anime characters, and they'll even, oh no one
Could
let
be a
Ethan
past
Klein
memory. I haven't
understand.
tapped into it.
Hopefully Ethan Klein doesn't find out that people will sometimes dress up as anime characters in anime conventions. But like, let's just look at this. So this is obviously a meme that's political, and it's also anime, so it's right up my alley. Like, the perfect internet meme, right? Always give your 100%. People can see that aspect in Deku, and they'll be like, yes, I love that he'll never give up, and he always goes 100%. Never lose hope. Fucking kid from the Promised Neverland, forgot her name. And then you have this joke down here where it's like, the world's largest military is nothing more than a personal guard for the billionaire class. They will commit genocide in order to enact this brutal hierarchy and use propaganda to justify it and their endless wars. Our only hope is to join together in a working class revolution to reclaim our freedom. With Luffy, that's what people identify with in Luffy. But also maybe the idea that he'll never give up, and he's like emotionally intelligent, and they're like, oh, and Luffy always knows what his friends need. That's so cool. And then volleyball, people will identify with that too. It's like, wow, I really like Naruto because he never gave up on his friends, and he always came back to the village. Then Ethan's like, oh, really? You think you're a ninja? You think you have a demon fox spirit sealed within you that can just burst forth and give you ridiculous, unimaginable power at any point? That's ridiculous. That's absolutely ridiculous. People will be like, I really like Gon, and the aspect where his dad abandoned him at birth, and he was always trying to get approval from his dad. That really spoke to me. It's like, oh, really? So you think that your hockey, or wait, what the fuck? What is it? That you're Nen? You think you can do rock, paper, scissors with Nen and cut up a fucking like evolutionarily augmented ant in half with your Nen attack? I'm completely insane. Like, what are you talking about, dude? Hassan likes Superman because he's like an advocate for social change. And then Ethan's like, so Hassan thinks he's bulletproof. Got it.
From Krypton, if you're going to go through the mythology.
Oh God,
send
there's
him
a Ben
to
Shapiro
Earth
review.
so that he can be a
there's
moral
gonna be
guide for
spoilers, I
people
think.
on Earth.
I'm trying to pause it, yeah. But that's enough. That's all I wanted to show. Except
Spoiler: Superman's not from Earth.
No, it's more than
No,
that.
I know.
I watched some of Ben Shapiro's.
Oh, you watched his review, right? He does a lot of movie reviews.
now
right?
Hassan, he talks about how he has dedicated his life to protecting those vulnerable under him, and no matter what the cost is. Now, I thought this was especially ironic given that last week he dropped the T slur on his stream.
Okay, so I just want to, like, before he goes on to the ContraPoints, I just want to point out how Ethan Klein is so mad at Hassan because Hassan does identify with Superman, and how the idea that you identify with someone who helps those that are weaker than you is absolutely foreign to Ethan. He has no fucking clue that Hassan actually identifies with the moral aspects of Superman and what he stands for, rather than, like, the only thing Ethan can fathom identifying with in Superman is always winning, being like bulletproof, being like a macho man, the epitome of masculinity, being a superhero, right? Just having like the superpowers. That's the only thing Ethan can think of. And so that's like, it doesn't even cross his mind that people will stand up, that people can identify with characters in like their moral virtue, their life experiences, what they stand for, what they advocate for, that that's a completely foreign concept to Ethan. So it's just like you get a clip of Hassan being like, Superman stands up for the little guy and he advocates for them and he tries to like get people to be more aware of social plights and issues. And that's what I do. And then Ethan's like, what? You think you're an alien that has impeccable moral virtue? That's completely inane. I've never heard something that dumb before. Just doesn't even cross his mind that Hassan could be identifying with like what like the ideals that Superman stands for.
And has refused to acknowledge or apologize for it. Let's see. I think we blurred it, right? Or we beeped
Wait,
it.
are you skipping your take on
Yeah,
the
what-
Super?
what-
Wait,
we-
We're
we
going
need
to
to
come
talk
back
about
around to
this.
it. No, I want to.
Okay.
I'm not skipping.
Okay.
I'll stand on my take with 10 toes down.
Okay.
Oh, Ethan has a controversial take about the Superman movie. Interesting.
Houthi style.
California officials are failing to protect girls on the playing field and in the locker room. The Department of Justice has filed suit. Going into the replies and seeing the big bad rhetoric is not working on the right wingers is honestly amazing. Oh my God, they tried to do it. They tried to do the trans thing.
Wait, what? Where was it?
It was blurred. It was censored.
No, but he said
California
the
officials are
word.
failing
Yeah.
to protect
What the fuck are they talking about?
girls on the playing field and in the locker room. The Department of Justice has filed suit. Going into the replies and seeing the big bad rhetoric is not
Oh,
working on
there.
the right wingers is honestly amazing.
I thought there would be a bleep. So he says big bad T word for trans people. Which is really what's the T slur? Oh, it's the T.
Google it.
It's a slur for trans.
Bro, now you're not gonna say slurs. Come on, Ethan. Come. Dude, you love saying slurs. That's like your favorite thing to give context, right? That's your favorite thing to do. It's like, dude, come on. This is like when you hold in a sneeze. I can just see Ethan struggling with this and it's making him uncomfortable.
Trans people.
Yeah.
And it's a very bad one. Now he was just reading a post, right, with it in it. But that's what the majority of times that I've said slurs is me doing that. And Hassan and everyone else doesn't think that that detail is important. Now, what's the difference is
What? Sorry, I was reading.
now he was just reading a post, right, with it in it. But that's what the majority of times that I've said slurs is me doing that. And Hassan and everyone else doesn't think that that detail is important. Now, what's the difference is that he's refusing to apologize for it or even acknowledge it. Like that happened to me one time on Leftovers where there was I accidentally said that the T slur, we had talked about it and it was meant to be cut, but it was accidentally left in. And I was doing a character. Yeah, I was playing a character. I didn't mean it.
Bro, are you fucking kidding me? Ethan, you dumb motherfucker. Why would you say, oh, Hassan was reading what someone wrote, but then you make that comparison to yourself and you're like, yeah, that's like 99% of the times I've said slurs. I'm just reading what someone else wrote. On that video where he's talking about like raping that underage girl, right? He was just playing a character then. And apparently he's just playing a character now when he did it like the most recent time when he said that slur. He's like, I was playing a character. Dude, oh my God. Once again, like you playing racist and like sexist and transphobic characters is a you thing. Don't try to compare that to Hassan reading a racist tweet or like reading a transphobic tweet and not censoring himself for it. When he's literally criticizing the tweet. He's reading the tweet, criticizing it, and he just like read the slur instead of censoring it. And you're like, no, I just did a transphobic character.
It kind of slipped out and I was like, oh, we got to cut that. But it actually made the cut. And this is what I said 3 years ago. I said, I'm so very sorry about this. You're 100% right. I was supposed to be cut. It was left by mistake. I know I was in character as an ignorant person, but I should never have said it regardless. I feel horrible. I'm so sorry.
Maybe that's what Ethan's been doing this last year. He's just been in character as an ignorant person. That would all make sense.
We're going back and cutting it out of the episode. Also, do not be rude, please. they're 100% right and was completely respectful with their feedback, which they didn't have to be. Now, Hassan, I think it is genuinely his policy. He thinks that this is the way to operate. Never apologize for anything ever. Like, I genuinely think that's his policy. And I mean, you can see it here. Like, there's no reason for him not to just like acknowledge and apologize. And the timing of it is quite bad as well, considering he goes from saying the T slur to attacking ContraPoints.
It's the other way around. He started with ContraPoints. The next day he said the slur.
He started it by attacking ContraPoints. And then, well, here it says the same day.
It might be the same day.
And then the very same day attacking ContraPoints, which again, optically, if you're going to accuse me of being a misogynist for suing 3 women, like this is, I mean, this has way more credence. If you are like me, a spoiled child of America, and your focus.
If you're going to accuse me of being a misogynist, this has way more credence. So you're saying Hassan's a misogynist? So this is Hassan attacking ContraPoints?
After 20 months of live streamed Holocaust of children in Gaza is still on your personal feelings instead of unconditional support to the victims of genocide. There's more honor in continuing to stay silent. He's talking about ContraPoints, who, by the way, did offer her her unconditional support. What she did.
Bro, ContraPoints literally said, don't post pictures and images of the genocide to the internet, because then that could possibly cause harm done upon Jewish people. That's what ContraPoint said. So yeah, give me a fucking break. That's not unconditional support. It's like just definitionally not unconditional support. Like, you're basically saying my support for the Palestinians is conditional upon the feelings of Americans. And if the feelings of some Americans are slightly impinged upon, then my support for Palestinians goes out the window. And actually, I'm in favor of everything that Israel's been doing in terms of killing journalists. They've killed what? 700 journalists in Gaza? And ContraPoints makes that argument. Israel killed, just looked this up like last week. No, not 700, 176. But then people have it like over 200, 232 by Al Jazeera. So yeah, like, it's literally not unconditional support. It's quite conditional support to the people of Gaza.
Offer is criticism of Hassan and the online left's handling of this situation, and her opinion of how it's alienating people and how it's unhelpful. And Hassan, feeling personally slighted about that, turns it into, actually, you're pro-genocide.
Ethan, you just described how it's not unconditional. Hassan supports Palestinians, even if people like you feel isolated from people like Hassan who are actually trying to support Palestinians. That's what unconditional means. You, on the other hand, if your feelings get hurt, your support for Palestinians goes out the window.
Which is constantly the constant line of attack that I hope is becoming more obvious to people as time goes on. But on this very same day he accuses her of being pro-genocide, he also calls her the T-slur and has not acknowledged or...
Where does he call her more pro-genocide? Where does he call her that?
Apologized for that.
Did not call her.
No, he was reading a tweet, somebody referring to...
He didn't call her the T-slur.
He said the T-slur. Yeah.
Bro, you're such a fucking demon, Ethan. Ethan's like, oh no, he was actually doing his Hamas Abi character, who throws trans people off of the tops of buildings in Palestine. That's what Hassan was doing. Actually, Hassan was there himself in Palestine, throwing ContraPoints off the building. Like, as long as we're making shit up, why stop there, Ethan? Yeah, Hassan caused ContraPoints pro-genocide instead of being like, your take was dumb. That's what he actually said. No, he called ContraPoints pro-genocide and then also called her the T-slur. shit, dude. Actually, like, just a evil person.
Thank you for clarifying that. He said the T slur. And I've been wanting to talk about the ContraPoints thing because I want to read her statement just to show how fucking reasonable it is. And we'll get into this.
But yeah, of course, podcaster Ethan Klein voices support.
Oh yeah, I made a point to defend her, obviously, because she's getting absolutely creamed, as we all unfortunately knew she would, as being pro-genocide. And once you guys see what she actually said, which maybe it's a long, I think I can read it pretty fast. But it's actually a great statement. It's a thoughtful statement. It's one that very much supports Palestinians and is very much against the Israeli government, you know.
Against the Israeli government. He can't even say against genocide. He can't even say that. Also, like, once again, ContraPoints said that we should not be posting images of Palestinians getting killed to social media because that can cause a backlash against Israel and splash over backlash against Jewish people in America and non-Zionist Jews, which that's true. That can happen, but that's not a reason to stop supporting Palestinians. And yes, you are supporting Palestinians by talking about their struggles and by posting graphic images of them online so that the horrors that Israel is doing aren't being silenced and not going to be forgotten.
But it's not enough, because Hassan has somehow successfully brainwashed people into thinking that criticizing him is being pro-genocide. It's truly amazing. And by the way,
Where the fuck did ContraPoints criticize Hassan?
ContraPoints is one of the most intelligent, thoughtful people on the left. And I mean,
Literally a liberal,
you know,
not a leftist.
being aligned with her is fucking fantastic for me.
But yeah, of course,
Ethan, you're aligned with Mudahar and Asmongold and sex criminal legal mindset. Or maybe not a criminal, but sex tourist legal mindset. You're going to talk about the alliances you have?
podcaster Ethan Klein voices support for ContraPoints on his Instagram story. It is important to remind people that there is space to be anti-genocide, but also against annihilating Israel. Thank you, ContraPoints. It's important to remind people that there is space to be anti-genocide.
Hold on, he's not even reading. It's important to remind people that there's space to be anti-genocide, pro-Palestine, and also against annihilating Israel. Wow, that's crazy. What a great... God, dude, what? This guy wants to kill children.
Pro-Palestine, but also against annihilating Israel. It is my belief that any lasting peace must have two elements: Palestinian self-determination and secure borders for Israel. Without both, peace fails. Many leftists would rather focus on purity tests and social credits than having a meaningful and realistic conversation about creating a lasting peace. The reaction to your post will prove my point, unfortunately.
Literally nothing objectionable about that. Let's see how he spins this one, guys.
This is the other side of the story. Annihilating Israel. Dog, you're a fucking Nazi, okay? When you...
Now, when you call...
Okay, so this is so funny because Ethan says that, oh, when you call me a Nazi, you're advocating for violence against me. Which is funny because Hassan does not advocate for violence against Nazis. You know who does advocate for violence against Nazis? Mr. Klein. Ethan advocates for killing Nazis. He advocates for punching and assaulting Nazis if you see them in the street, right? This is the violent rhetoric he's spreading to his community. So it's just so fucking funny when, like, he can't actually handle the criticism, and so he just ignores the point and he's like, wow, that's way too far. Okay, Ethan, why don't you go out in the street and kill Nazis then? That's what you advocate for. Why aren't you out fighting against Nazis when they're doing marches in Columbus, Ohio? Or when they're marching with tiki torches? Go out there and fight them. Come on. You have armed security guards. Go out and fight them. If you think that being a Nazi deserves to get, like, violence done upon you, go ahead and do it. And, like, yes, Zionists are as bad as Nazis because they're pro-genocide. That doesn't mean that Zionists should be fucking gunned down in the street whenever they're seen by an anti-Zionist.
A Jewish person, an Ashkenazi Jewish person, a Nazi, or any Jewish person, a Nazi.
This is also hilarious. So this guy who encourages his chat to call Sam Cedar a self-hating Jew, his chat called Sam Cedar a capo, but now Ethan gets his feelings all hurt when he says that, oh, Hassan called a Jewish person a Nazi. Well, if the shoe fits, you're going to have to wear it.
Like that, just as a blatant insult. I mean, that's anti-Semitic. There's just no, that's straight up Holocaust inversion. It's blatant, fucking hateful.
What the fuck are you talking about, bro? Hassan didn't say the Holocaust didn't happen. He didn't say it was the Jews holocausting Germans. If you want to call the irony of a group of Israel's existence being justified by the Holocaust and then them doing another Holocaust to maintain that existence, you can call that an ironic Holocaust inversion. But it's not Holocaust revisionism. It's not Holocaust denial. It has nothing to do with the Holocaust. He never mentioned that you were Jewish. He said you support a genocidal ethno-state. That's as bad as being a Nazi.
Anti-Semitism. It's just brazen, and it is what it is.
Okay, so if you call, like, let's just get this straight. If you call a non-Jewish person a Nazi, Ethan's fine. But if you call a Jewish person a Nazi, that's anti-Semitic. Okay. All right, come on, dude. Like, Ethan, just think about what you're saying.
You say annihilating Israel, what you're talking about is the perspective that Israel should have democracy for everyone. Israel should not do an ethnic cleansing, and Israel should allow the Palestinians, who literally it occupies every fucking facet of existence of, breathing room. Okay?
No, what I'm talking about is what you said Israel should have done in response to October 7th, which is dissolve your border and fire your government. You know, it's a country that exists. It has borders.
Holy shit, he actually can't contend with anything Hassan's saying. So Hassan is like, give Palestinians equal rights as the Jewish Israelis, right? Give them equal rights. Get rid of the fucking genocidal government of Israel. Right? Ethan will constantly criticize Hamas and say there cannot be any peace if Hamas is still in power. But as soon as someone says, well, I mean, Israel's also violated a ton of ceasefires. The government of Israel has also done genocide and killed hundreds of thousands of Palestinians and displaced millions of Palestinians. Ethan all of a sudden says, that's anti-Semitic. You can't criticize Israel's government because that's anti-Semitic. Even though in the next breath, Ethan will be like, oh, it's not Israel that's bad. It's the far-right extremist government of Israel that's bad. But now he's criticizing Hassan for saying that same far-right extremist government that Ethan is so ardently opposed to. He's going to call Hassan anti-Semitic for saying that, like, no, we should get rid of that terrorist government of Israel. Like, Hassan's literally just advocating for giving Palestinians equal rights, and the far-right terrorist government of Israel has to go if that's going to happen. You cannot have equal rights for Palestinians if that government still exists. That's a necessary requirement for getting equal rights for Palestinians.
It has 20% of its population are Palestinians. I believe that they...
Interesting, Ethan. Like, care to explain why only 20% of the population is Palestinians? Maybe because they were all ethnically displaced?
do have virtually equal rights there, although there's a lot of social...
Ethan trying to justify his favorite ethno-state. They do have virtually equal rights there. He can't even fucking say they have equal rights because even this moral failure of a person knows that Palestinians don't have equal rights as Israelis.
Much like racism is in America, where it's like technically on the books there's not, but obviously there's a lot of...
Dude, there are literally laws on the books that do not give Palestinians equal rights as Jews in Israel. You fucking moron. Comparing the way Palestinians are treated to the ways that minorities are treated in America is absolutely disgusting. You fucking idiot. Like, they literally allow communities to discriminate against Palestinians. Like, redlining is alive and well. There are laws in Israel, like constitutional laws in Israel, that say Israel is a Jewish state. Where are the laws in America that say it's a white country? Bro, like, if you want to compare it to America, compare it to the Jim Crow South after the Civil War.
Room to improving the situation for Palestinians who are living in Israel proper. But my point is that you want to fucking, I mean, you said it yourself.
You want to fucking what, Ethan? You want to give Palestinians equal rights? You just admitted they don't have equal rights. You want to what?
You said Palestinians who are living in Israel proper. But my point is that you want to fucking, I mean, you said it yourself. You said the point of the Houthis blockade is to make it so it's so uncomfortable for Israelis that they leave.
Dude, he's such a fucking bitch. He's such a fucking bitch. He has to retreat. He had to retreat from the point that he was trying to argue against and went to a different position. Hassan said in their fucking Leftovers episode that Netanyahu, or the Israeli government, if they want to stop that kind of violence, they should give Palestinians equal rights. That's the only thing he said. He said stop segregating them within Israel, stop using Palestine as an open-air prison, stop displacing communities in the West Bank and terrorizing Palestinian communities in the West Bank, give them equal rights. That's the only thing Hassan said. And Ethan is like, well, they virtually have equal rights within Israel proper. But, you know, obviously the West Bank and Palestine, I mean, that's a whole other can of worms. Can't even bring himself to confront what's happening in the West Bank and what's happening in Gaza. And then when he tries to go back to the point of, oh yeah, Palestinians should have equal rights as Israelis, he cannot. And so then he's like, oh, well, like, you advocate for equal rights, but, like, you said yourself, the point of the Houthi blockade is to make sure that Israel has pressure put upon it. You cannot contend with Hassan's initial statement, which is just giving Palestinians equal rights. And, bro, when you say against annihilating Israel, your initial reaction was, oh, yeah, annihilating Israel is equal to giving Palestinians equal rights. That would be an annihilation of Israel in the eyes of Ethan Klein. Not being able to dominate a Palestinian minority within Israel and then also in Gaza and West Bank, that is an annihilation of the country that Ethan Klein loves. That's how racist this man is. Not being able to just like murder people on a whim. That's an annihilation of Israel for Ethan Klein. If he can't be racist against his most favorite minority group to be racist against, then, you know, that's an annihilation of Israel. Like, let's just run this back without me actually pausing this.
Israel should have done in response to... No, what I'm talking about is what you said Israel should have done in response to October 7th.
So Ethan Klein just said... What I'm talking when he says annihilating Israel, he's talking about giving Palestinians equal rights unequivocally. That's unequivocal. Ethan just defined his statement of annihilating Israel to be what Hassan said Israel should have done, which is giving Palestinians equal rights. So in Ethan's mind, giving Palestinian equal rights is the annihilation of Israel.
Which is dissolve your border and fire your government. You know, it's a country that exists. It has borders. It has 20% of its population are Palestinians. I believe that they do have virtually equal rights there, although there's a lot of social
It's got to be a fucking t-shirt. Virtually equal rights.
Much like racism is in America, where it's like technically on the books there's not, but obviously there's a lot of room to improving the situation for Palestinians who are living in Israel proper. But my point is that you want to fucking, I mean, you said it yourself.
You want to fucking give Palestinians equal rights. That's what he was leading to. But then he had to abort that sentence immediately because he knew that would sound horrible.
You said the point of the Houthis blockade is to make it so it's so uncomfortable for Israelis that they leave. You want Israelis to leave. That's what I'm talking about, and you're lying.
Okay? Meaningful existence. Treat them like fucking human beings.
I mean, also, this is completely ridiculous. When Hassan said the point is to make Israelis want to leave, he didn't say the ultimate goal is to get Israelis to leave. He said we need to make it uncomfortable to live in Israel so that there are consequences to the actions of doing genocide. That's what he's saying. Like, Ethan's pretending like Hassan and his everyone that agrees with Hassan's position is advocating for millions of Jewish Israelis to leave Israel. And like, some people want there to be land back. That doesn't necessitate that millions of people have to leave Israel. They can fucking move and give land back to Palestinians where they took it from. But yeah, that's not the ultimate goal. The ultimate goal is equal rights for Palestinians and historical justice. That's the ultimate goal.
Instead of a parasitic force that must be excised.
That's not what I want at all. That's not what I said at all. Yeah.
That is unacceptable. Why? Because you're a Zionist. And you have the
Ethan, you said giving Palestinians equal rights is the annihilation of Israel. And then Hassan's like, oh yeah, give Palestinians breathing room rather than treating them as a parasitic force that must be excised. And you're like, that's not what I said at all. I'm fine with 20% of Palestinians living in Israel.
exact same hysterical fear that is rooted within Islamophobia and ethno-religious supremacist attitudes.
One of the most cynical things they do is this constant like reaffirmation that anti-Semitism is hysterical. It's hysterical. It's overblown. It's hallucinatory. Like, I'm sorry, but Israelis are not hallucinating when Houthis flag says death to Israel, death to Jews, you know, and Hamas's charter literally, you know, what are we doing here?
Bro, Ethan, I'm sorry, but being prejudiced against Israelis is just not anti-Semitism. Sorry, that's not true at all. It's not the same thing whatsoever. You can be anti-Israel in a way that is anti-Semitic by being like, yeah, it's the Jews that are controlling the world, and that's why Israel has the support of the entire Western hemisphere, and all of these countries want to work through Israel, and like, it's because the Jews are controlling America and they're making America give weapons to Israel. That's a way that you are anti-Israel in an anti-Semitic way. But having a Houthi flag that says death to Israel, that's not anti-Semitic at all. And then even saying like death to Jews, like that is anti-Semitic, but you can understand why that's on their flag when the country that's killing them is defined by its status as an ethno-state.
How are we going to actually have a meaningful conversation that starts with Jews are hallucinating anti-Semitism? And that's one of
And the fuck did Hassan ever say that, you moron?
points is that, like, I believe anti-Semitism is a real thing and it's a problem. That's part of the issue that they took with her statement, you know, that now has painted her.
No, it's not, Ethan. It's not an issue that we took with her statement, you little dumb. Like, listen, I said it before in this stream, I'll say it again. ContraPoint said, my support for the Palestinians is not unconditional. if my support for Palestinians makes certain Americans feel bad, then I am not going to support them anymore. That's what ContraPoint said. We didn't say that there is no anti-Semitism, but what we did say is that even if there's anti-Semitism that comes from being critical of Israel, you should still be critical of Israel. You shouldn't shut up and let Israel do whatever you want. You should still criticize it. And obviously, also fight against that anti-Semitism instead of conflating anti-Semitism for criticism of Israel like you do every single fucking day. Every day Ethan does this. Okay, I wanted to see if I could find something here. Oh yeah, I think this one. So look, this is what we have here. I know this has been discussed ad nauseum, but I didn't realize how widespread the propaganda has become. Under a tweet completely removed by anything related to Israel-Palestine, there was a reply that said, "Is she Israeli?" It got a bunch of likes. A reply to them said, "She's spiritually Israeli," and it also got likes and a reply from the original person saying that it makes sense. Using the term Israeli like a slur seems like an escalation from the term Zionist. I couldn't help but feel icky and like I needed to share to somewhere people might understand. So like people here are complaining, they're crying that like there's anti-Semitism and they're comparing Israel, like they're conflating anti-Zionism with anti-Semitism, right? But that's what Ethan does in every single one of his podcasts. Every single day, people are like his conversation with Sam Cedar. Sam's like, I think you do a bad job of conflating Ethan does conflate anti-Zionism with anti-Semitism. Ethan conflates that all the time. Sam's like, that's not a good thing you should do. You should stop it because that's actually spreading anti-Semitism. And Ethan's like, I can't believe how anti-Semitic you're being. You're a self-hating Jew. So like, what, Ethan? This is a problem of your own making. You can, of course, fight against anti-Semitism, but it shouldn't be contingent upon criticizing Israel. You should, criticizing Israel should have nothing to do with also being a fighter against anti-Semitism. Because if you make it seem like those two things do have something to do with each other, and there is a relation between criticism of Israel causing anti-Semitism, like what ContraPoints did, right? She's like, oh yeah, people are posting Palestinian kids just completely dismembered. There are dismembered Palestinian kids all over my timeline, and that's causing anti-Semitism to happen. Instead of shutting up about it, you should actually try to use your platform to explain why criticizing Israel isn't anti-Semitic. But Ethan just said, oh yeah, like, you make us feel like anti-Semitism isn't an issue when the Houthis have a flag that says death to Israel. He just cannot wrap his mind around the fact that criticizing Israel is not the same thing as being anti-Semitic.
As a Nazi, the shit that people are saying about her online is truly mind-bending, and I hope that this can wake some people up on the who are kind of on the center of the issue to seeing how the online left has completely weaponized this horrible thing to defend themselves against any criticism. And by the way, the length which they will go to smear their political opponents like ContraPoints and myself, there's no decency, there's no limit. It's totally a ends justify the means situation.
I mean, it's so fucking funny because he's crying because Hassan called him a Nazi. And then he went on to be like, I'm not a Nazi. I'm just against giving Palestinians equal rights as Jewish Israelis. I don't think they should have equal rights, but I'm not a Nazi. Dude, you're a fucking Nazi. You literally advocate against Israel giving equal rights to Palestinians, because then Palestinians would have an ethnic majority in Israel. You are a pro-ethno state. That's a Nazi position. Nazis are pro-ethno state. It's just so fucking stupid. Let's close some of these tabs. I'm gonna cover more of this later. Oh, here we go. Here's the bad empanada thing. Okay, who cares? Honestly, who gives a fuck? This was funny. Oh yeah, the people are like, oh yeah, I wanted to watch this Willie Mac show video too. Anyway, so just some stupid stuff here, but guys, pretty short stream today. I think we're going to call it for now, and I'm going to try to stream later. I just can't believe that Hassan compared himself to Superman. I mean, the ego on this person is off the charts. Absolutely ridiculous. Someone clip that and post it to the H3 podcast subreddit. Okay, guys, thanks for watching, everyone, and I'll be back later. Yeah, pretty short stream, but this was fun. And I'll see you all in a bit.